tomorrow. Leave finishes in about 1 hour's time. The lads are having a good night out tonight. We've got the English, we've got the Germans, we've got the Italians, all having a good night tonight. There's 11 still ashore and 6 booties. What I would do is I'd go up there and I would give them the hint.
We've got 7 minutes.
We've got 7 minutes to get back. Josh is going to be up here. I know that, but I mean, like, if somebody comes out, give them the hint to come back now, because otherwise they're going to drop themselves in it. Do us a favour, Jackie. You do us a favour. Go back in. Go back in for us and get the rest of them out. We've been told to get everybody out. We can't go in.
There's only one Stafford in there. He's
just come out.
Sad bastard.
He's just come out.
Well, that's it.
I was just trying to get everybody out now.
Hasn't he?
We've got a couple of minutes to get back.
He's just going to be on the gangway.
Josh is on the gangway now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Tell him that we're in there looking for everyone to get them out.
What time did leave expire?
12:30.
What time is it now?
I don't know. I haven't got a watch on. But I presume it's 12:30.
Well, I presume it's just a bit later than 12:30.
Shit, are we in the ship? Please.
Oh dear.
The ship's under sailing orders.
I know.
You should know better.
You coming on board or what? Did I make it, John? Did I make it?
Not really. Ship under sailing orders, you should be here 5 minutes before leave expires.
With the left and the right and the left and the right over Abraham, 7 sons and a 7 sons and a father.
Good morning, First Hand speaking. At the moment we are just to the southwest of the coast of the former Yugoslavia, near Dubrovnik, and for the next 10 days we'll be on patrol keeping a careful eye on Yugoslavian military movements and activities in the area. We'll also be looking for any vessel attempting to violate the UN arms embargo by smuggling weapons and ammunition to any of the warring factions. We'll soon be within range of the Serbian missile installations, so that's why our own missile systems, torpedoes and the upper deck guns will be fully loaded. There's currently a 30-knot wind coming from the southeast, so weapon crews on the upper deck should bring up full foul-weather gear. Remember that the threat in our patrol area is assessed as medium, and we will be required to respond if that threat were to increase, and that would then involve getting the ship to action stations in less than 5 minutes. That's all.
Starboard lever set 0, short lever set 46.
D-select shut down starboard tine, trill starboard shaft, full operational pitch applied.
D-select shut down the starboard tine, trail starboard shaft, operational pitch applied.
Here we go again.
Why does everybody look so miserable today?
Why are they looking miserable? It's not miserable, it's tired. It's lack of sleep in the last 4 days. Everyone was ashore last night and cramming, getting the best of the run ashore in until, well, we sailed this morning, so usually baggy-eyed like me this morning. Don't want to get out of bed, but you get dragged down when you've got to go.
A bit delicate, a little bit delicate. Had a good night last night. We partied down a mess. Well worth it, well good. Paying for it now though, sitting in here, it's like purgatory.
This is the BBC World Service.
We begin at 05 hours Greenwich Mean Time on Friday, the 21st of October, with the latest headlines.
The United Nations says some of its forces in Bosnia-Herzegovina have run out of fuel because of Bosnian Serb blockades on supply routes. The British Prime Minister John Major has been taking advantage of the ceasefire in Northern Ireland to go out and meet...
21st of October, Friday the 21st of October, and it's Trafalgar Day, and there'll be naval wardrooms all over Britain and hopefully around the world. We'll be looking forward to sitting down to celebrate the Battle of Trafalgar and toast the immortal memory of Admiral Lord Horatio Nelson, who in my mind is a great national hero. Of course, we're ourselves out off area Montenegro. There's just, in Defence Watches, there's no latitude to do that, I'm afraid. We'll just have to celebrate Trafalgar Day in our own quiet way, reflecting on what was done on that day. The only thing that was stopping Napoleon Bonaparte invading England was the Channel blockade fleet, and Nelson and Collingwood annihilated them in the space of 4.5 hours, thereby preventing Napoleon from invading Britain.
All looking good?
Yeah, drink on.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Whoa, go boogie on the nose.
Had Nelson lost, we'd all be speaking French now. That would, well, I wouldn't know any different, would I? But the thought of it offends me, to tell you the truth.
What height is that? Yeah, it's 40 feet. Quite turbulent, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, yeah.
It's very turbulent, actually. Look at that.
Right,
That's what it's done.
Serious wind.
It's very difficult to hold this.
Right, cowboy.
Gladiators, yeah.
Hey, putting at 50%. Good tickety bit. That's the wrong side.
Okay, HF.
Off.
Transponder.
Stand by.
IFF.
Stand by.
Nose wheel.
Right forward.
Wheel locks.
In.
Harpoon.
Who's on?
And harnesses.
Side lock.
And radar. Oh, there he is. Okay. Quite a nice day, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
A load of bacon, sausage, scrambled egg, tomato and a wrap replacement.
APS API, I have contact coming in on 140, 48 miles. Do you have any idea on that?
This is the One India Dartro.
Roger, stop waiting.
Hey, look. It's all good, it's good out.
Oh dear.
Cool scene, has to be said, doesn't it?
Cheers, Andrew.
Faster! Go!
Today's intelligence brief, sir, started with naval activity. It says that all Yugoslavian submarines, frigates and PTGs remained within Port Tivac naval base throughout the reporting period. CIS naval activity, sir. The Primuri AGI SSV 590 continued intelligence collection ops in the vicinity of Gavdos anchorage, south of Crete. According to press, the Bosnian Serb Supreme Command ordered a general military call-up 2 days ago and will ask its parliament to impose martial law to counter stunning military reverses inflicted by Muslim and Croat forces. Also, according to press, 3 ships loaded with weapons, ammunition, military equipment and fuel.
The greatest thing that I enjoy about the Navy is the camaraderie, still the sense of purpose. Despite things changing around the world, the Cold War no longer being there, there is still a great sense of purpose of wishing to do well and being professional. The great corporate spirit and feeling of teamwork and togetherness is something that appeals to me about the Royal Navy. But personally, the thing I've had to overcome over the last few years is women at sea.
3, 2, 1.
Being a very, hopefully, I don't know, maybe a masculine guy, I don't know. I think I probably am. I found it very difficult to accept when I first served with women at sea because I enjoy the sort of the male camaraderie in the Navy, and I enjoy the aggression of a warship.
Build it up then, let's go!
It's supposed to be an aggressive unit. It's supposed to be a unit that's going to go and do something. It's going to achieve something. It's going to do it in such a way that they will not fail. And I'm not sure whether the fairer sex, as I still like to think of them. Women, you know, quote equal rights to me till you're blue in the face. But they are the fairer sex. They're child bearers, you know, and I'm old-fashioned enough to think that, you know, we are the people that should protect them.
I'm not saying change is bad, but we thought we were doing quite well. I mean, 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. You know, I mean, we were doing a damn good job. We were considered the best Navy in the world.
Now we're the prettiest, I think. But even then, yeah, that's
well, yeah.
That's up for debate, I think. But
when I told the wife there was rains on the ship like that was at 3rd degree, you know, I mean, she's not happy with it.
And I mean, it's a strain on everybody.
It's my 7th ship, as I've said, and I've never had wrens on board. It's, I mean, how can you put it without sounding a bigot? It's enjoyable at 7 o'clock in the morning watching them coming out of the hatch, if you know what I mean, like, you know, when you sat outside the galley having a fag.
Wrens at sea. It works on some ships. This is a fighting navy, and you are joining to go to war. I know in the Falklands, a lot of people that had joined up were saying, well, we didn't expect to go to war. And I'd made sure I'd thought of that before I did join up.
And you get on her quarter, because we're going to get her turned into port, aren't we?
It's very much a man's world, very much so. It's always hard to know quite what they think of you.
The Navy's going through a significant adjustment at the moment and getting used to the situation. Clearly, you don't suddenly click your fingers and everyone's settled into a new environment, girls as well as men. You come across different views on board about the benefits of it, but the maturer view, without doubt, is one that sees the benefits and appreciates the skills, to be honest, that they bring. Yeah.
There's always some discrimination of some kind. You've always got some men that are, well, if they're women, they're doing a man's job, then they can work just as hard as a man, and they won't take into account that the girls maybe aren't so strong. Or there's others that'll turn around, and because they're so used to having women on shore, they'll be going, oh, that's all right, dude, don't you worry, I'll get one of the lads to do it. And until you've got more men that have come through the system working with women, you won't get rid of that, and you'll always have the, oh, that's only happening because she's a girl, or make her do that because she's a girl, and that's what you need to get rid of to make it more equal, more even, and then it will work.
You've got to get around inside and stay on his port side. The answer's not going to manage it. You've got no steering.
When we're on the bridge, then they expect exactly the same of me, and they don't expect me to behave in a feminine fashion. They don't expect me to be girly at all. On the other hand, when it's a social occasion, when we're in the wardroom, when there's a party, then they quite like having, I think, another female around. With the male officers, I get quite jealous sometimes. They have what the first lieutenant calls male bonding. It's the normal banter, the rough and tumbles, the fights. Even the sailors, you see the sailors, sort of, they can come up to each other and they can sort of put an arm across each other or something like that, which, as a female, you can't do with the men, because if you start to join in a rough and tumble, they'll turn around and they'll say, are you getting hormonal again, or what's with you, what do you want to? You have to time it, be careful with it.
This is Comrade 5, roger, all copied. Say again, attempted to board Van Brackle CTF 440, this is .01, sit rep on Jan Van Brackle. Of the 3 boats, 2 were Croatian police boats in pursuit of a 3rd vessel, which is suspected of being an Italian flag smuggling vessel. The Croatian police boats did fire upon the Italian vessel. .01, Comrade South.
Action links, action links.
Roger, action links. Then broadcast. Action links, action links.
Requesting clarification on the nationality of the 2 police boats. Request you confirm that they are Croatian, over. This is .01, that is correct, over. Action links.
Got it, roger, action links.
Yeah, real weapons. Real bang one. Live weapons.
Knows well. Flight indicating. We're locked in. SS. Trimmed 4, but waiting to engage.
So basically the Dutch intercepted. Well, they tried to.
As I understand it, stand by.
Regarding the legality of Croatian police boats and smugglers. CTF 440.
There has been an incident to the southeast of us involving one of our Dutch ships, which is in the same task group as ourselves, and also some Croatian gunboats. The situation hasn't really been made entirely clear to us, but we've brought the Lynx aircraft to immediate readiness, and the plan is to launch the Lynx with Sea Skua on board, in order that, should the incident develop further, she may well become a part of it. There has been a report of firing on the Jan van Brackle, but this has been slightly confused by other information which hasn't been confirmed yet, that there's also an Italian smuggling boat in the vicinity, and it may well be that the Croatians have been opening fire on that.
This is .01C again. Jan van Brakel is attempting to determine from the Croatian police boats what the Italian vessel was being pursued for. Over. Boat is now... this is Comrade South. You were broken in the middle of your transmission, but I understand that the smuggler's speedboat is now inside Montenegrin territory waters, over? That is correct, over.
Good evening, First Hand speaking. What started out today is a very routine day in defence watches up in Montenegro. You'll have seen how the incident this afternoon involving one probable Italian smuggling boat and two of the Croatian police boats set us from normal routine operations up here up to heightened alert state. The aircraft is loaded with 2 skewer, which eventually weren't required. However, it serves as an example of how unpredictable the operations up here can be. Well done to all of those involved in that incident. Those 2 Croatian police boats have now cleared away, and the Italian smuggler, we believe, headed off towards Montenegrin territorial waters.
To be honest, I think we both wondered whether we were going to go off with a 2 live sea skewer and come back having to fire them in anger, which for us is a first, really. We've practiced for it. The theory is there, but I think today was the first time that we actually had to get all the kit together and go for it, not knowing what was going to happen at the end of it, to be perfectly honest.
What did it feel like, Nick, when you got the order that... Well, to be honest, my heart leapt into my mouth, because we were sitting there, and at 1 minute we were effectively just about to get airborne for a fairly routine training sortie, and the next minute the guys were rushing 2 live missiles out to the aircraft, and we were manning up for that. And as far as we knew, we could be getting airborne in order to fire a missile in anger, which, from my point of view, is a fairly unsavoury situation. But as I say, I mean, it got my heart racing. It really did.
"20 seconds gone, 20 seconds gone. Come on, Doc, push out, good lad.
Halfway. Come on, we've got it.
Well done, push it out. 15 seconds left. Come on, Graham Waller.
Women should be viewed as equal. We're capable of doing the same jobs. We demand to do the same jobs. And if you're in a wartime situation, I think we've worked together with men often enough now that they will treat us as equals and won't be leaping to defend us. And hopefully each one of us, if we do get a man that tries to leap to defend us or help us, will turn around and say, no, you've got a job to do, go and do your job as well. I'm sure it will be debated until people are actually tested and we end up in a war environment with mixed ships, and it's either proved that it does work and women can do the jobs and men aren't leaping to their defence, or else it doesn't work, in which case I'm sure that's the point when women will be withdrawn.
I think rends it seem it makes for a better environment on board a ship. I do. Sorry, I do. It's my opinion. Which I'm entitled to.
With a wren, if she's a bit, I don't know, a bit weepy, as women tend to be, I mean, you know, on the whole they do. Well, I wouldn't want one on my unit.
All right, we're in a potential war zone here, I would have thought. Of course we are. We sit at 12 miles off the Bosnian coast, for God's sake. We're within a Styx missile environment. If something happened, then God knows. I mean, I tell you what, a lot of blokes would probably crack up.
I think any nation that's prepared to send its women into the front line voluntarily, i.e. haven't got their backs up against the wall, they're not starving for manpower, and therefore they have to send their women into war. Any country that elects to send their women to sea is morally bankrupt, in my opinion. I feel that strongly about it.
Apparently down there, the Gulf, well, as we're saying, they were all right, but down the Gulf they didn't come under fire like they did in the Falklands. You know, and didn't have aircraft flying over the top shooting at you and things like that. It just remains to see if it does actually come to the crunch, and we'll just wait to see the way they handle out.
If you're like a ship with a Mark 8, a big gun in the front, I like to see them lifting shells around the place. No, you just can't see it somehow.
It happened today doing the ammunition. The girl couldn't handle it, so instead of us saying someone take charge of it,
Killick took charge of it himself. Well, I'll carry it for you. You know, you'll be all right. She tried, and she did a good job.
Yeah, she tried. And I'll tell you what, all the girls on here will try. They will try. Until they can't manage it any longer, they will try. And then they've got to give up. And that's full credit to them. They will not give up. You know the girls on here. They will do anything to try and make themselves fit in.
Are you ready? There's going to be a temptation for the married man who's stuck with some woman for 6 months, away from his wife. He's not going to have that temptation when they were shoreside. So as soon as they're brought to sea, that temptation's put there. I mean, it's the same with everyone. If you're away for a long time, you're stuck in the company of a woman, as friendly and as affable she is.
Temptation's always been there for the married man.
Not when they go home and
when the ship docks in a foreign port, there's women ashore.
Yeah, but you've got a lot.
In fact, having women around you all the time may relieve the temptation. I don't know.
After 3, 1, 2, 3. At first when we joined, we were petrified. Kept thinking we could never live with you all side by side. But then we spent so many nights thinking how you did us wrong, and we grew strong. We learned how to get along.
I get hassle off my wife. Why'd you have to go to sea on a ship with wrens on it? Well, I didn't get a choice, love. Well, there comes they got a choice. Well, that's just the way it worked out. Well, I'm not happy with that. And it calls, I mean, I write to my wife. Perhaps it's not the most loving of letters. Next letter I get, well, what's the problem? Are you seeing somebody? Because she knows they're there all the time. You know, if you've seen somebody, you've gone off me, or...
Well, that's a problem you've got with your wife, obviously.
So we're back from 3HP. We've just been on the stage up here and seen those looks on every face. We should have changed our stupid drafts. We should have took redundancy. If we had known for just 1 second how bad life at sea would be.
They haven't got the same amount of stamina what the guys have got. Academic-wise, yeah, you can't field the guns. But when it comes down to stamina, I'm sorry, the lads have got them brute, hands down. The guys are there, working, no complaints, they're going doing it. I'm afraid the girls are complaining every 2 minutes.
So now we'll go. Walk out the door. No turning around now. The friends aren't welcome anymore. Weren't you the ones who tried to break us on this trip, but you didn't win? 'Cause we took all of your lip.
They did Desert Storm with wrens on board, and they all came through that all right. They can't do the manual side of life. Like he was just saying today, they were lugging seawalls around, seawall missiles, and she was struggling with it. Well, of course she is. You know. But then a bloke standing by her, give her a hand. What's the difference?
What's not what really gets me about them is the swearing. I mean, they're as good at swearing as anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
But you say something like, and they don't like it. And you hear worse in the news every day, like murder and rape. And yet, I tell you what, I bet any other one's rather be than murdered.
Because we had a life for friends at sea, so very hard for us to keep all of our dignity. And we spent so many nights having fun in foreign ports, we had a laugh. But now we're finally set free, hey, look at us. We're people too. We're not those chained up little girls so much in awe of you. So you felt like drafting us and just expect us to agree. Well, we're sick of all this sea time, you can stop your life at sea.
Throughout my naval career, I've worked with females. And to be quite honest, they're probably better than 90% of the lads. The dross that we've got coming in now, give me a female majority of the time.
We will survive. Oh, yes.
The Matlows, fiancés, girlfriends, whatever, they ask what life is like with wrens, and they say, oh, they're fat, they're ugly, and they sleep around. It's not true. I mean, I know for a cert that I don't, and my friend's in this mess.
They've branded us as slags, which none of us are, and it is a shame for us.
We have had bad press. The media haven't been kind to us, and every time we open a paper and we see something written bad about wrens, it doesn't affect us as bad as it affects our families at home, our friends.
We have 2 or 3 affairs, 2 or 3 pregnant wrens out of the 4,000 of us, and it's in every major newspaper for months after months, every centre page.
It happened before wrens came to sea. Matlows went ashore, they went to bloody Bangkok and everywhere, and they, you know, they sleep around there, but their wives don't know this. But because we're here, they're voicing their opinion, saying how bad we are, and it's definitely not true.
I've gone to dues, and with a boyfriend that's in the Navy, and as soon as they found out I'm a wren, Matlow's girlfriends or wives have actually completely ignored me, and even one has tried to attack me just for being a wren.
We've been made to feel that we're that we're an inferior race because we're in the Navy, and it's embarrassing sometimes to admit that you're in the Navy because of the treatment we get.
Yeah, I used to be very proud of being a Wren, but now I feel it's almost a dirty word, especially within our circle of Matlows, not necessarily at home with my parents, because they're obviously very proud, as everybody's parents are. But when you're actually ashore, I often tell people that, you know, I'm a secretary, or, you know, sometimes I'd actually lie and won't say I'm in the Wrens, which I think is very sad now.
I can honestly say these have been really bad times in my life. I hate it.
I've no sympathy for them at all. They knew that the Navy's a male environment, like, and they knew the situation when they decided to go, because it's volunteer to go for a ship for them. We get stitched, they get a chance to go volunteer for it. So they've no sympathy at all. They've made their bed, they'll lie in it and take the ship.
They must have preferential treatment. They're women, yeah? And let's face it, there's nobody out of all the armed forces more of a gentleman, whether he's had a beer under his belt or whatever, than Jack, yeah? And Matlow is always going to be a gentleman, yeah? Especially if he thinks he's got a chance of getting his leg over, yeah?
I need your love so badly.
There's your copy of what you've got to say up on stage. We're looking for rehearsal probably either tomorrow or Friday. Down the mess, we've got all the lads together. They've all read through their stuff and everything. They're happy with it.
What about my gear?
Your gear? All right, we've got you down here for a wig from Mickey down aft, a netball skirt and pubs. I have a word with the girlies down 3 Hotel for your lipstick and a blouse, although we haven't got that jacked up yet. Make sure it's nice and big because you're massive. And footwear, whatever you want, and tits from the dock.
Lovely stuff.
And you've got to make sure you act the part well, being a Devonport slapper. I'm sure you'll manage.
Yeah, it comes naturally.
Why don't you come back and give me a chance? Come back, my love, come back and stay. I need your loving every day. I love you so and I want you to know I need your love so badly.
Good morning, First Hand speaking. An advertisement. The Sods Opera, which is due to take place in 5 days' time now. Going around the ship, a great deal of thought has gone in, round and about, into various sketches that can be put on. Remember, this event is for your enjoyment, and it does allow you a degree of comment upon the deployment thus far. It's a way in which you can let your hair down, let your messmates see you standing up there on the stage, but actually allows you, perhaps, your comment and your expression on the deployment so far. That's all.
Sods Opera really is naval tradition, really. It's where the lads can get up on stage and basically take the piss out of everybody on board and get away with it. It's just basically a release of tension towards the end of the trip and get your own back on people who you can't on the trip, really. It's a big piss take, really.
So you can have real good officers?
Oh, absolutely, which is what we're going to do, yeah.
A lot of people get upset, maybe. There you go. They don't show it because then they're not entering in the spirit of things.
So anything goes, no rules?
No rules.
The junior rates and the senior rates can take the mickey out of the officers, but it's not quite the same when we take the mickey out of the junior rates, so we've got to choose something a little bit more sort of politically acceptable.
So we take the mickey out of ourselves as well?
Yeah, so we take the mickey out of ourselves.
Yeah. Sods Opera standing for Ships Operatic and Drama Society.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You're going to be doing the skipper, aren't you?
I am doing the captain, yeah. I mean, we could have a good sketch of the skipper, but I'll be up there probably with 4 rings on my shoulders, all the time I will, right? Maybe a patch over my mouth when he had an infection in his eye.
Get a huge melon and put it on your head. No one knows it.
We're sorry, we cannot return your picture.
Focus up! Captain Rap, hardened ship, A-I-E-I-O. I know my ship, we are LWRO Sparrow.
One kiss in the dark, and I'll be going. You know I hate to go.
So it starts. Ladies and gentlemen, we have prepared a small tribute for you, just to say thank you for the superb welcome and hospitality you have all at some time or other given us. Not. We have all been treated not only as splits, but as equals, I don't think. Your kindness, tolerance and lack of prejudice in any form has not gone unnoticed. Thanks for nothing, one and all. That's the girl's feeling, so it's all written there.
This is just a little extra that they don't know about. Nobody knows about this.
Toronto's just come back into the operation area and is going to relieve us in our current area, which is Iceman. And we've just given her all the information of what's been going on the last few days while we've had the responsibility. And we're now just going to give her a wave and head on our way for our visit to Istanbul.
It's just saying, most welcome, have a good visit.
To hear that PO speaking, we are now out of the Styx missile envelope. There's no longer any need to secure for action. Normal securing for sea is to continue. Battle bags no longer need to be carried. Unload Seawolf forward to commence unloading upper deck guns.
Adios, Montenegro.
Good morning, First Hand speaking. We've now been relieved of our patrol duties and are beginning the long passage to Istanbul, although we still have a very busy day ahead. Later this morning we'll be linking up with the Spanish frigate Victoria and sending over a few of the ship's company on a goodwill visit. Before that, however, we're rendezvousing with the Italian support ship Stromboli to take on fuel. And tonight, of course, is the Sod's Opera, so keep up the rehearsals. That's all.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stuart. Happy birthday to you. M1. Go, go, go. Go on. Do it. Do it. Do it. Good. Good. I get plenty of applause now, you know.
Totally illegal, especially at 10 o'clock in the morning. But there again, Sod's Opera tonight. Everyone should be out of their heads. It's for people that like performing to get up on the stage and actually show their abilities. And we'll see if anyone's got any ability tonight.
Correct bridge, straight to the Stromboli, execute follow November Alpha.
Direction green 5, speed 18.
Ferry here and a ferry there. Here a ferry, there a ferry, everywhere a ferry.
The thing is, when are we singing the words and when are we oohing?
Yeah, I'm completely confused.
Because I reckon we should all do
You all
ooh.
We need some sort of ooh during the first two lines, and then you harmonise.
2.8. Set to both levers ahead 30.
So speed fast 10.
00.
Briefly the pass back down position in a second, sir. And the masthead height is 86 feet.
And at 15 knots.
Here a dig, there a dig, everywhere a dig.
We will survive. As long as we've got action station, we know we'll stay alive. We've got all our jobs complete, and we're in the driver's seat. We will survive. We will survive.
Check airlanes, port and starboard.
Mark when ready.
We will survive. We will survive.
Shut up, woman, or I'll knock you about.
Passenger party. Fast bearing.
Hello.
Need some webbing.
Stand clear. Stand clear. Right, lads, run in as quick as you can as he checks away. Straight down the deck. Run it in.
On command, open line, so all people in the option can share it, and we can associate
Stop pumping, sir.
information.
I'll bring these back when I've finished with them.
All right.
I'll meet in about a week's time, okay? Wherever I will be. From the very lowest, not the lowest, decency for me. Peeping there, wanking there, flashing all around.
Right, what we got to do is go through a run-through with music, things like that.
Ooh, you dirty man. Tooling here, flute in there. Ooh, you dirty man.
Here,
it's there, here it's there, it's everywhere.
We've taken away a lot from the lads by coming to sea. We've altered their lives, so I think there's a bit of resentment there. I don't think they do half the stuff deliberately to hurt us. They do it because it's natural to give us the aggravation, the torment.
Stupid bitch here, stupid bitch there, here a bitch, there a bitch, everywhere, stupid bitch.
No, no, no. It's just part of the parcel of coming to sea, I think.
It's naval life.
Naval life. And we're a soft target for them.
It sounds horrible to say, but they start arguing between themselves and all of a sudden they just turn on you. And when you go down the mess, you need everybody around you to be friendly, because otherwise you actually feel like going away and crying, and you don't need it when you're on a deployment like this, because it's bad enough as it is. You can't get away from anything.
Tantrum here, tantrum there, here a tantrum, there a tantrum, everywhere a tantrum.
Men and women that work alongside each other in every other field. What is so special about us here?
Here there, first hand speaking. The Victoria is now making her approach, and we will be rigging a light jackstay to bring back the 6 visiting personnel, including the captain. All those involved with the Sod's Off rehearsals on the upper deck must remain clear of the starboard boat deck. That's all.
Oh, come on, boulders, don't be weary. Just because your legs are hairy, the lights are dimmed and music gay. Let us dance the night away.
Ferry here, ferry there, here a ferry, there a ferry, everywhere a ferry. Captain Rapp had a ship. E-I-E-I-O. Index.
Index. Index.
Take your fingers out, you sod. Do you think you're bleeding God? Yeah. Why not make a pass at Chops? I've heard he takes it all from Boss. That's what he got up there anyway. As the midnight bell drew near, he was very sore around the rear. Come and get it, yeoman! Come on, lads, put your backs into it. Heave! Heave! Hey! Shaka!
No, I mean, bloody tobacco better not be wet.
Whoa!
Is that right now?
No, that's completely wrong.
Well, I'm good at that one. I ain't doing that again.
That's my name.
How does that develop through the song?
It just stays, it goes the same as it's straight down the whole way through.
Stay away!
Got it in for a few people, have you? Oh, I've been ordered by a couple of officers to do a few things, yes, for the back of the water. How do you do?
Laughing at me.
What about the captain when he comes over? It wouldn't be a good career move, I'm afraid.
See? You were going.
Oh, come back, my love, don't run away. Come back, my love, oh, come back and stay. I love you so, and I want you to know I need your love so badly.
For exercise, for exercise, for exercise. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in the AMR. Location marking 1 kilo. On which emergency marking muster received fire before parking muster at the after section base. Containment parking muster at the surveillance office.
It wasn't that good, was it?
Exercise, exercise, this is for exercise.
Joe there, first hand speaking. The Sod's Opera will begin in approximately 30 minutes' time. For those of you who haven't been up to date, fate has smiled kindly on us, and it's a beautiful, warm evening. The humour, I know, will be, as ever in these things, reasonably sharp, and in the best naval traditions, somewhat scathing. However, I think that everyone will work hard to make sure it's not too personal, and that we can all still enjoy ourselves immensely tonight. That's all.
There's no breasts.
Excellent.
Is that too big?
No, I think that's about right, actually. And you've even got cleavage.
Really? I think they might be a bit too big, Ness.
Cutting up in 2 minutes, everybody.
You're a bit lopsided.
No, hold on,
I think one's
one's gone. That's,
I think you better see the
well.
dock. I'll send you back.
Have you got any more, Liz?
I hope it will reflect the general the mood and good nature that exists around the ship. I mean, I think at Sod's Opera, where in fact there are few people, or maybe one or two mess techs who've got some sort of real axes to grind, then that will be an occasion which could all go wrong.
9 times out of 10 we can't say a thing. We've got to go through the proper channels. Tonight's our amnesty. We can say whatever we want. And it's good that the command can take it and smile, because they know how we feel. They're not daft.
Discipline might conceivably have to come into play, but it shouldn't. And we've got a responsible team of people on board, and they know the object of this is to entertain. I mean, there'll be a lot of in-jokes, I'm quite sure, and the fact that it's done at the end of a deployment allows it to be topical, and lots of experiences we've had together, and we can actually relive them in some ways. Captain.
Sir, from the PO, the MD's display is now rectified.
Thank you.
Officers always have been fair game, and there's not a lot they can do about it. They're on here purely to take the shit. They give us shit, 365 days a year, so this is our day.
Behind you! Oh, no, it isn't. Oh, no, it isn't.
There's a padding on my bunny's dropped. Stay with me. Cheers, June.
The clapometer. And it's not a scale of who's got the dose on board. It tells everyone else how good you are. Starting from the lower end of the scale, dog shite. Moving up to slightly better, the dog's breath. The dizzy heights of dog's knob. Then you reach the zenith of dog's bollocks.
Hey guys, I think you get changed.
You can draw your own conclusions how good or bad you actually are.
Maybe you're not going to make me look like a tart, Elizabeth.
No, I've got some nice bright. Can you just sort of
What do I
go like that? I think it's better.
So you like to get into a party?
I have found the perfect Christmas present for a woman you don't like in your life. A bowler hat and a dildo. Except if you don't like the hat, you go f*** yourself. I bet you won't be showing that at poor 9 o'clock, will you?
You've got a really big kiss of lips now. Just take your mouth a bit more. That's much better. You might need to touch up before you go on the stage.
Really?
No, we need the eyes.
Situation normal then, Bob? Absolutely normal.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I want you to do it through.
Break it back like later now. Very small tribute before you walk. Just to say thank you for the
Look at this, the Chief Stoker sweeping. See, he's not a useless bastard. He's just a bastard.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you. I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night.
Good night.
Come back, my love. Don't run away. Come back, my love. Oh, come back to stay. I love you so well. I want you to know I need your love so badly. Well, everybody makes mistakes in the game of romance. Well, I'm asking you, darling, why don't you come back and give me a chance? Come back, my love, don't go away. I need your loving every day. I love you so, and I want you to know I need your love so badly. 'Cause I need your love.
Welcome to the Brilliant Sods Opera. I'm about to offend some of you people. If you f***ed up, this is your judgment day. No stone will go without turning, so I hope that you're holier than thou. If you can't handle public humiliation, you should leave the flight deck right now. We serve aboard the Brilliant, a ship so fine and stealthy. I've never known a ship quite like it, whose morale is oh so healthy. We volunteer for everything, and even more things if we could. We're the only ship in NATO that can board some f***ing driftwood. We have a bunch of Royals on board, the Royal Marine Protection Teams. They spend all day mincing round two-deck like a f***ing bunch of queens. We're oh so glad for Wrens at sea. They're not lamb dressed up as mutton. But when it comes to PMT, don't let them near a fire button. They spend all day soaked in cheap perfume. The smell is really quite rank. It's amazing how much time off they get on the offer of a soapy tip wank. Well, let's not forget CBO Tracy. I hear that she gives good head. If you ever have nowhere to sleep, Mom, come down 3Q, I'll give you a bed. I don't care if I've offended some people, don't give a shit, a stuff or a hoot. I've been fed it from day one of joining. That's life in a f***ing blue suit. When I grow up and leave my home, a slapper I will be. Getting shagged both day and night is Millbay Road for me. Tooling here, fluting here, ooh you dirty man. Tooling here, fluting here, ooh you dirty man. Peeping here, wanking here, flashing all around. Tooling here, wanking here, flashing all around.
Sorry, is anybody ready? Come on, Mum, let's go. Come on.
Tooling here, fluting there, flashing all around. Tooling here, fluting there, flashing all around. Tooling here, fluting there, flashing all around.
Ladies and gentlemen, your tolerance and lack of prejudice in any form has not gone unnoticed. Thanks for nothing, one and all.
The Wrens on board, definitely bad for morale. The Wrens, this is their day of ridicule. All they do is like flash their eyelids, wave their tits about, and they're off. They don't do anything. None of them know a decent hard day's work if it come up and slap them in the chops. I'm not sexist by any means, right? And I think women are great. However, I just wish someone up top would realise that this is a man's job. This is a man's job. This ain't a woman's job, and why don't women turn around and accept that?
I doubt it!
Tommy Cooper and Frankie Howerd, two of the greatest comics, are given the Parky treatment in 40